Okay, so who is to blame for this particular draw? I actually don't know whether to blame the players or to blame the manager because this wasn't a game where I can accuse the manager of not making the right substitutions or not making the right selection or players not having the energy to play or not being prepared enough. I think we were very much prepared for this game. We started the game very well on the front foot, trying to break down a low block, and it was actually a good exercise in breaking down a low block. We had so many attempts to be able to get a goal in that first half, given that we even missed a penalty and all. And we had every opportunity to go at least 3 goals up in that first half, but we didn't. So how do I even blame the manager? I think this is the most disappointing draw of all the draws that we've had in the last 11 games or so, where we haven't really lost a game, but at the same time, it's been quite disappointing because in the previous other games before today, we haven't really created a lot. We haven't really created much. But in this particular game, you can't fault the manager for giving them a plan, for having a way of breaking down a low block. We put a lot of crosses in today. The selection of Cody Gakpo on the left-hand side and Jeremy Frimpong on the right-hand side to give us that width enabled us to create a whole lot of chances. We were stretching their backline so well. But that was only when the game was a draw. That is when it was goalless and when it was 1-1. That was the only time we were able to consistently stretch their backline and create chances. Immediately we went 1 goal up in the second half. I don't know, but I could feel some complacency in the way we were playing. I could feel that players were taking it for granted. It was too easy for them. And the way we were playing was as if we were leading the game by about 5 goals, which wasn't the case. It was just a goal. So I don't know why we weren't really pushing to get the second goal and the third to kill the game. We really let Burnley back into this game. And that is the most disappointing thing, for us to be able to get into the lead and also begin to play such a game after going 1-0 up. The inability to control the game. We kept losing the ball by passing from the back again and again and again, and we didn't learn our lessons. And I think this has to do with players really managing the game. You don't need the manager to tell you that this is a game you need to manage. If you can't get another goal, don't concede. And we didn't manage to do that. And that is very disappointing because we played well today. I can't say that today was a disappointing performance. It wasn't. The only thing that we were missing was in the final third. But again, even after that, after missing all those chances, we had every opportunity to keep Burnley at bay, to keep them absolutely at arm's length so that they get no encouragement whatsoever to come back into the game. But that is exactly what we gave them. We gave Burnley a chance to come back into the game. And in the end, it was an uphill battle for Liverpool trying to get the second goal, because after they got the equalizer, it was pressure after pressure after pressure, but nothing came out of it because we had our chances. And in games like this, when you begin to think that it's too easy and you take your foot off the pedal, this is what happens. You begin to make mistakes. You let the opponent back into the game. You give them encouragement. You give them belief. And this was Anfield. But that makes it even more disappointing that at Anfield, playing against a team like Burnley, who are one of the poorest teams in terms of when it comes to playing away, we give them this opportunity to get a draw, to get a point at Anfield. It is very, very disappointing. And I thought today was going to be different, honestly, because the first half was very good. We missed the penalty. Dubravka made some incredible saves. We missed some chances. Some of the final balls weren't very good in the penalty box. But this was a game that we should have won. This was a game that we should have won. I don't know any way of describing this because it was a very frustrating game not to win. Because as I said, if you perform like this against Arsenal in your last Premier League game and you come to Anfield to play against Burnley and you do this, what is the point? What was the point of playing the way we played against Arsenal and then turning up at Anfield today and showing such a lackadaisical performance? The hunger and the fight to win the game in that second half wasn't there. We took our foot off the pedal. And it was very, very disappointing because that goal was coming, the equalizer from Burnley. It didn't come out of the blue. It was a goal that came from periods of shaky passes, periods of indecision from Liverpool, giving them the encouragement that they can get something. And that is absolutely what they got from this game. I'm not going to even look at individual players because there's no point. There's no point. It was a total team collapse in that first 15 minutes to 20 minutes in that second half because as a collective, we just didn't know what to do in that first 20 minutes of the game. Burnley changed their pressing shape. They came in the second half going man for man, and we still kept wanting to play from the back, which I do not understand. And even when we went long, the long passes weren't accurate enough. It wasn't finding the man that it was intended to find. So I don't know exactly where we go from here because it's been too many draws that were supposed to be wins. In fact, today's game, there is nothing that would convince me that this is a good point. It is absolutely atrocious to come away from this game with just a point. And the players should be very disappointed with themselves because this is not good enough. You can't tell me that it is the manager's fault for this draw. I can't fault the manager because this was in the hands of the players. It was there for the taking. They had everything they needed to win this game today. And they absolutely failed catastrophically. They did fail today. So what else should we even say? We are in January. It is January 17 now. And we are still trying to find our feet. We haven't still gotten to a point where we can say that this Liverpool team has gelled and the players are determined to turn the season around. I don't see that determination from the players. No, I don't see it. And that is the problem, the determination from the players. And as a manager, you can only do so much. For me, I think the manager has done well to make sure that we don't concede too many chances or too many goals. But the players themselves should look at themselves in the mirror and really ask themselves if they are really giving their all this season because it hasn't been good enough. It hasn't. I'll end here with the video. Guys, I don't really have much to say. Wednesday, we are playing away at Marseille. That is a more difficult game. And the most annoying thing is that they are going to turn up in that away game and play very, very well and come up with a result. And then you would think everything is rosy now. Things are going to get better. And they will come back into the Premier League and drop a stinker of a performance. That is the problem that we are having in this last 10 or so games that we've played. Very, very inconsistent. The most easy games, we can't manage to win it. And those are the easy games. And I think sometimes when you are not winning the easy games and players turn up in the more difficult games where the manager doesn't need to really motivate them or do anything to keep them concentrated, that is an issue with the players because you can't be dropping this performance and attitude after going 1-0 up against Burnley. And then you go away to a more difficult grounds and then you are on your toes. You do everything to put your body on the line to prevent the opponent from getting a goal. You keep a clean sheet and even make a goal in the process. And then you come home in a game where you should be winning very comfortably and you don't manage to do it. I think that is a mentality issue on the part of the players. Complacency, taking it too easy, just joking around and flicking balls around unnecessarily. You were only up by 1 goal. So why the unnecessary relaxation on the field, playing the game as if you were leading by 5-0? It absolutely didn't make any sense to me. And the blame that I'm going to give to the manager is the fact that in that second half, in that halftime, what did he tell the players? In the second half, when we came out and we realized that Burnley had changed their shape, what did we do to stop it? We didn't do anything. The manager failed to change anything in the game. And that is why we drew this particular game. So as far as the Premier League is concerned, I don't know, because it is finishing fourth is nothing, because the rest of the teams are not really playing well. So if you finish fourth, you haven't done anything. It's not because you did well or you were good enough. That is why you finished fourth. If we finish fourth this season, it's because the other teams are absolutely atrocious. That is why we finished fourth. So as far as the Premier League is concerned, I don't even know whether to keep watching Premier League games of Liverpool, because it is absolutely useless to keep watching it, because it doesn't make any sense, really. The players themselves don't really see the need of playing their heart out and making sure they come up with wins. So why should I waste my time and keep watching these games? Because I don't really see the point. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Continue to support the channel. Smash the like button. Click the subscribe if you are new here. Share the video, hype the video, and do everything to stay safe. See you again. Probably after the Marseille game. Thank you for watching.